Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica Lovelace. This is Lovelace Knits. Today we have a very special guest with us, my little doggie Amelia. She heard me start talking and immediately ran out to the living room to hang out with me. So I don't know how long she will be here, but she's here for now. So this is Amelia. Please welcome her to the YouTube channel. So today we have a podcast episode number 2. It feels like it's been so long since I've filmed one of these because it actually has been quite a while. I think I filmed my first episode in the beginning of April and now we are mid-March, so lots to catch up on, lots of finished projects, so we'll just jump right in. And same thing for the previous episode, I am going to follow a pretty standard podcast format, so I will start with my finished objects, my works in progress, my future plans / acquisitions, and then any sort of other random things that I want to talk about. So first up for finished objects, I have my Olga. I am obsessed. I absolutely just adore the way this turned out. So this is in Cascade 220. She is a very needy chihuahua and I will give her all the love and affection she needs, but this Olga is in Cascade 220 and the colors are Tiger Lily for the bright red, Desert Flower for the pink, and then Olive Oil for the collar. And for all of these, I will have a cutaway video here of me actually wearing all of these objects. I know it can be kind of hard to hold things up to a camera or see them when you can only see the top half of my body. So there will be footage of all of these objects in their full glory. But yes, my Olga, I am just absolutely obsessed with the way this turned out. It was quite a saga, actually. I really wanted to have this finished before my birthday, which was at the end of April, and I technically did. I will insert a picture here. I originally finished it with contrasting cuffs and bottom hem, inspired by Hannah Way's colorful candy stripe Olga. I absolutely loved it, so I thought I would do the same, and I finished everything. And then I tried it on and I realized the sleeves were way too long and the body was just a little bit short. And I'll be honest, I also didn't love the contrasting rib on the sleeves and on the bottom hem. So I decided to cut all of the contrasting ribbing out and I took like 4 or 5 stripes off of the sleeve. That's how too long they were. They came like way past my fingers. And then I just finished the hem with per the pattern. So I did small stripes of both of the main colors, and then same thing on the bottom hem, cut out the contrasting hem, and then just did the bottom hem with the same body colors. So I will do a full video recap. I'm not sure which one is going to come first of my birthday trip that we took to Bainbridge Island, but I was on the ferry like furiously weaving an end and finishing my Italian bind off so I could wear this on my actual birthday. And I finished. I got to wear it on my birthday, yarn shopping, and I got lots of compliments. Everyone loves an Olga. So I just am so happy with this. I also have I feel like 20 more ideas for Olgas. They're such a fun pattern. I feel like the combinations are endless. I really want to do an Olga jacket with the Tutti Frutti Pure Gint and the bright blue with the contrasting green like button band and collar situation. So TBD, more to say about cardigans later. I don't know when I will get to that, but that's another idea that I have that I would love to get to this summer, but we'll see. And so I did make the size medium of the Olga back way when I started, I think in March. I originally cast on a large, and that was back when I had a different color pink. I forget the name that I used originally, but it was just not a very flattering pink on me. It was kind of pale and dusty and just didn't really complement my skin tone. So at that time, I started on the back panel and I realized I started on a large, and then I realized that it looked really big compared to my body. So I decided to rip it back primarily for the color, but secondarily I also went down to a medium, and I'm so glad I did. There is like the perfect amount of ease in this, and it's just the perfect boxy fit. I love it so much. Probably lots more Olgas to come on this channel. And then next up for finished objects, also on my birthday trip, I finished my Sophie scarf. So I did show this as a whip, I think, in my previous video. This is in Cardiff Cashmere Classic in the color Czar number 666, and I love it. This is not in my color season, this bright cobalt blue, but even still, I just think it's so cute. I actually think it looks really cute with the colors on this Olga. I think this is a really cute combination. Maybe I'll wear this someday. I did post a picture on my Instagram where I had this styled with this Olga, and it's a lot. It's definitely giving art teacher, but you know what? That's kind of my vibe. So I really just love this. I have not blocked it yet just because I'm being, frankly, a little bit lazy. It is a little bit sheer, but I think a good block will really make this blossom nicely and yeah, maybe grow a little bit too. I did not do this according to a certain size in the pattern. I just did kind of the Sophie hack where you measure your yarn ball and then increase until half and then decrease once you get to half. I will say I kind of got a little bit scared towards the middle, and I feel like I could have gotten one more row of increases before I started decreasing, because I did end up with a pretty good amount of leftovers, but I didn't want to run out, so I was a little bit conservative with that, and I probably could have gone one more round of increases. But even without that, I think it's really cute. I also think with the scraps, I have no idea how I would do this, but I was considering maybe figuring out how to knit like a ring shape, so I can like put it like this and then have it like this. So a matching ring shape situation in the same yarn to be like a, what are those called? Bolo ties? I don't know. So that's kind of my vision, what I'll do with the scraps. Again, I have no idea how I would even begin to make something like that, but I'm sure there's a video or a blog post or something that'll tell me how. And then I realized I was about to show you my next finished object inside out. Okay, so my next finished object is this cutie little tank top. So this is the camisole number 10 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And this is a Knitting for Olive pure silk in the color dark cognac, whatever that is. And I actually went on vacation to San Diego in mid-April, and I had a few tank tops that I wanted to knit up this summer, but all of them were like textury cables, a little bit more involved. So I found this tank top pattern, and it's just simple stockinette. The pattern is super easy. I think it would be a really good beginner friendly pattern. It's just this really easy boat neck. You start in the round, and then you split for the sleeves, do the back panel, the front panel, join in the round, and then you're off to the races. I think I could have done this in a week if I really focused and like went all in on it, but I did have other things going on at the same time. So all in all, not working on it very consistently. I think I knocked this out in like 2 weeks, maybe 3. And I really love this tank top. I cannot wait until it's warm enough to wear it. I did hold the pure silk doubles. So if you are wanting to use that yarn for this pattern, I did hold it double. It's just like the best drapey, flowy, airy kind of tank top material. And it is a little bit sheer. You can see my hand through there. So, I mean, I don't really mind that because once it's against the body, it's not like super revealing. So I just kind of wear a black bra with it and I'm fine. It doesn't like show my outline of my bra too dramatically, but I do think when I make another one of these, I do have plans to make a red one. I'm gonna try to size down in needle size maybe, because I would like one in a more denser, less sheer fabric. I did make this in a size large because I just didn't want a tank top to be too tight or clingy, especially around the bust area. I do think I could size down to a medium, especially if I were to use the pure silk again. The silk is pretty heavy, so I think as the weight of it kind of pulls on the garment, it is going to continue to grow, but I think it's still super wearable, and this color is a dream. It's very chic, very different from all of the crazy color knitting that I've been doing for most of my knitting journey, and it is very satisfying just having a nice neutral piece that I can wear with almost anything. I did not do the I-cord on the neckline or the bottom hem, so they're just rolling, and honestly I'm fine with that. I think it looks really cute. Maybe in the future I'll go back and add the I-cord, but as of right now, I am fine with the way it looks. And I did do the armholes a little bit shorter, maybe like 1 or 2 centimeters shorter than the pattern calls for, and then I think I did 1 less round of increases, but all of the details on how I modified it will be on my Ravelry. And honestly, I think the Ravelry projects in general are just really helpful here. I looked through a ton of different project notes to kind of get an idea for how to modify, because a lot of people did say that the armhole was really deep, and I don't love when my bra is showing on the side of the shirt. So like I said, I think I did only like 1 or 2 centimeters less on the length and then 1 less increase round, and I don't have any bra peekaboo on the side. So yeah, this was a really fun one, super easy, super quick. So I think it would be a great beginner pattern. I think this yarn is a dream. It's so soft. It will be great for summer, and I can't wait to make another one. And then my final finished object is my Oslo hat. I actually just finished this a couple days ago. I am so excited that it's done. I feel like this has been on the needles for so long. I honestly avoided working on it for quite a while because I knew I was gonna run out of yarn, and I just didn't want to face that reality, so I just kind of ignored this for a while. Plus, it's not really wool hat weather anymore, so I didn't really have a big incentive to finish this, but I finally just locked in and got it done. I did end up having to buy second skeins of both of the yarns, and I used barely anything from either of them. I think I used 3 grams of Sunday and 1 gram of the mohair, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I'm definitely gonna hold on to it, and I already have a green Sophie scarf, so I don't need a matching Sophie. I maybe will make a pair of gloves or mittens or something with this. I don't know. It feels silly to not do anything with it, since I could have like a little winter accessory set of some sort. So TBD, you'll probably see this featured in a podcast later this year once we get towards the colder months of 2026. But for now, I'm just going to put this in a bag and not think about it for a while. But overall, I did really like the Oslo hat pattern. I made the size medium, and I will say my only issue is the top. I just don't love closing hats in general. I feel like it's very finicky, and if you can see, there are some holes. I mean, it's just like a little bit gappy towards the top, but frankly, I mean, I am short, so theoretically people can definitely see the top of my head, but I don't really think anyone's going to be paying close enough attention. I am very much a type B knitter, so having like tiny little holes up there, I'm like, whatever. It doesn't bother me. Hopefully it won't bother you. And yeah, it's just a really pretty hat. I use Sunday in the color Lime Punch, and then the mohair is in the color Matcha, both from Sandnes Garn. So the combination is so pretty. I love the marling, so I can't wait to wear this later this year. But yes, it was definitely a journey, and now I know that the Oslo hat is not a single skein project for me, which is really sad. I know a lot of people can wear the small or even like the kids sizes, and they can use 1 skein, but alas, I cannot. So lesson learned, but I'm sure I will have more Oslo hats in the future because it's just like a nice little on-the-go pattern. So happy with that. Okay, now moving on to my whips. I think it's so funny that in my last podcast I was talking about how having so many whips at a time stresses me out, and I think I had like 4 or 5 whips during that video. Now I only have 1, and I'm a little bored, so I kind of need a sweet spot. I need to figure out what that number is. I do think it's 1 garment and 1 accessory, and I did just finish the Oslo hat a couple days ago, so I think I need another accessory. Hopefully I won't cast on another garment, but I think I will. But anyways, I only have 1 whip to show you this week, and this is my test knit that I'm doing for, I know her Instagram handle is Slow Stitch. I will have that on the screen, and this is her Selva cardigan. So it is just a very cute, straightforward cardigan. It is very oversized and just like a beautiful, cozy, wonderful cardigan situation. So where I'm at, I got a portion of the body done. Although I will say this is my first cardigan and I'm not enjoying all of the purling. So if you have any tips on how to make purling less torturous, please let me know. I probably won't try any new techniques in this project just because I don't want any sort of tension issues to happen when I'm like maybe a third of the way through the body, but definitely for future projects to make cardigans less of a labor of love. I would love any suggestions. So I did get to the end of one of the yarn balls and I had to put the body on hold. So I picked up for the sleeve and I have about maybe 1 more centimeter on the sleeve before I start doing the ribbing. And then yeah, we'll have a sleeve done. Very exciting. The test knit does go through the end of the month, and I know it only is technically, as I'm filming this, the 16th, so basically definitely smack in the middle of the month, but it feels like the month of May is already over, so I am kind of stressing about finishing this in 2 weeks. I think the second sleeve should only take me a few days, and then honestly it's just the body. I don't know how long the body's gonna take me, but yeah. So yeah, overall I'm really happy with this. I'm using Sandnes Garn Double Sunday, held with their mohair, tin silk mohair, both in the color bubblegum pink. I adore this color. This is like my dream pink, so I'm really excited to have this finished. I did want to have this finished for spring since I feel like a hot pink cardigan is like more spring than fall. And since I did include the mohair, I don't know how much use I will get out of this during the warmer summer months. I think I could still probably get away with it on some chilly evenings, but generally speaking, I feel like this is very much a spring cardigan. So hopefully I can finish this before Seattle gets too warm this year. So yeah, that is all I have for whips, which is kind of crazy. I do have quite a few future projects and I'm probably gonna cast one of these on here pretty soon. So with that, we will just jump right into next up, future project. I clearly have a type, more red stripes, hello. So this is my swatch. This is going to be a flock vest by Andrea Mowry. And technically it's a bright red with like a periwinkle purple in the middle. So not quite the same as my Olga, but you know, not that different either. So yeah, this is, like I said, the flock vest by Andrea Mowry. It's a brand new pattern that she put out in partnership, I believe, with La Mercerie on Bainbridge for Flock Fiber Festival coming in August. And I don't know if they've done this in years past, but I think a lot of people are gonna make a flock vest. So I am really excited to match everyone and to have like a conversation starter because I'm probably going to be going to flock alone. So it'll be nice to have matching vests with people to be able to be like, oh my gosh, your vest is so cute. What did you use? And just have that as like a starting point for conversation. So yes, I will probably be casting this on very soon. This is also kind of future project / acquisition, because I did obviously have to order this yarn for the vest. So the main color I'm using is Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in the shade Wheat. And then the bright red is Heavy Merino in the shade Blood Orange. And then the purple is Lopi, Let Lopi in the color Milky Way. So I have honestly been looking at that color Milky Way for so long. I actually have this skein right here. So yeah, I have been wanting to make something with this forever. I just have saw it on Wool & Co for so long and I'm like, that is the perfect periwinkle blue purple situation. And I had never actually felt it before. It is kind of rough and kind of rustic, so I'm glad that I am just doing it for one single stripe instead of ordering it for an entire project worth of just this. I don't know, I guess I can check on Ravelry if people do use this yarn by itself for full garments, but it is probably the most rustic yarn I have felt thus far, and I feel like I have some other rustic-y yarns. I know I have some Briggs & Little Heritage, which I know people say is very rustic, and it's escaping me right now, but I know I have other rustic yarns, and this is very scratchy, and I don't know how this would feel fully against the skin, so I'm glad I am using this because it is a dream. I'm sure I will have leftovers, so I might have to find something to do with the rest of this because I'm just doing the one tiny little stripe throughout the vest. But yeah, I'm glad I am scratching my Milky Way Let Lopi itch on something that might not necessarily be like a full garment. So that's my first next up / acquisition. And then next I have kind of a puzzling thing that I would like some opinions on. So these are gauge swatches for the Roomy Raglan Light, and this one on the bottom is knit on a US 8, and then the one on the top is a US 7. And they don't really look exactly the same stitch width wise, but the gauge that I'm getting for both of them are exactly the same. I'm getting 15.5 stitches per 4 inches on both of these, and the pattern calls for, I believe, 17 stitches. And so I have never had it happen. I mean, granted, I've only been knitting for, I don't know, about 6 months now. But I have never had the experience where you go down in needle size and you get the exact same stitch count for 4 inches. So I don't know what that means. I guess I will just go forward on the US 7s anyways, but please let me know. I don't really think I have a third gauge swatch in me, I'll be honest. So I might just go forward with the US 7 and kind of size accordingly, but yeah, let me know what that means if I went down in needle size and got the exact same gauge. I did the swatches exactly the same way. I didn't like try anything different with tension or anything weird like that. So in theory they should be different, but they're not. So not really sure what that means, but I am going to be knitting the Roomy Raglan Light in Cascade Eco Merino DK Plus, Eco Merino DK in the color Ash, held with 220 fingering in the color Natural. So that's what that'll look like. I am just really excited for another neutral. I really think I'm entering my neutral knitting era, which is kind of fun. I mean, as much as I love dopamine knitting and colors and just bright personality driven garments, I think having these neutrals will be things that I wear and reach for years and years to come. So I'm excited to just have like a nice white pullover sweater. I think especially in the Seattle summertime, this will be perfect. These don't feel particularly heavy, so I think it'll be just like a really nice beachy throw on, kind of PNW beach throw on, because like I mentioned previously, they can get kind of cold. So yeah, that will be coming up very soon. And then last but not least, also on my birthday trip, I went to La Mercerie, and I have already talked about, I talked about all these swatches a little bit already on Instagram. So if you're not following me there, I'm at Jessica Lovelace and do Whip Wednesdays more frequently than I do a full podcast episode. But I also mentioned that I did a birthday video recap where I kind of went over all the things that I bought on my birthday trip to Bainbridge from La Mercerie and Lamb & Kid. Again, I think this video is going to be coming before that one, so stay tuned. But this is one of the projects that I am making with yarn that I got on that trip. This is the Bloomlet poncho, and this is in Knitting for Olive merino and mohair, both in the color elderflower. I am obsessed with this color. It's like the perfect off-white, super light pale yellow almost. So here it is next to the Roomy Raglan swatch, which is like a pretty like ashy gray white. So you can see there is a bit of a difference. I wish I had something pure white to show you, but I do not. So yeah, this is a poncho, a lacework poncho, neither of which I've ever made before. I don't even own a poncho, like a ready-to-wear poncho, but something about ponchos this year I am obsessed with, so I'm really excited for this one. I did have some trouble down here with this first diamond, but I definitely figured it out by the end of the swatch, and I would cast this on immediately. I'm so excited to have this finished object, but you knit like this giant rectangle flat and then seam it together to create the poncho. So I think it's going to be a lot of purling, so I don't know with my cardigan that I have going on right now if I'm going to be getting to this anytime soon, but I do really want to have this ready for spring, definitely. I do want to make another one of these in Sandusgarn Lean, where it's like a linen cotton blend, so that could be worn for more of the summer, but this one with the merino and mohair, I think this will be particularly nice for early summer when it does still get pretty cool here. So yes, ideally I would get this done May, early June, So we'll see, but I am very excited also to do some lace work, just do something a little bit different than straight stockinette. And so last but not least, I have a few acquisitions. So a couple weeks ago now, it was local yarn store day, as I'm sure everybody saw on Instagram. And my local yarn store, the Tea Cozy in Ballard, they had a pretty amazing sales. So I got 3 garments worth of yarn, but they were all, I think, 50% off skeins or more than 50% off. So I got a really good deal. So the first one I got was this Isair Jensen, and this is in the color 40S. I got 2 skeins of this for 50% off. Insane. So I'm going to make a slip over with this since it's just 2 skeins, but there is 250 meters per skein, so this is quite a lot of yarn per skein. So I'm going to make a slip over with this pretty green. And then I also got some Isair Jensen in the color 7S, and I think I got a sweater quantity worth of this. This was a few weeks ago now, so I don't really remember, but I think I had a sweater in mind for this. I really should take notes when I'm acquiring things so I don't forget. And again, I think I got a sweater quantity worth of this at 50% off, so another crazy deal. And then last but not least, another rustic, very rustic yarn is the Biche et Bouche Le Gros Lamb's Wool. My apologies to any French speakers out there. This is in the color beige gray. Again, just a really cute neutral. I love this like warm gray. And again, this was 50% off. I got a sweater's quantity worth of this, and my plan for this is I'm going to make a Lakes jacket. So really excited about that one. I think I might cast this on soon-ish and work on this throughout the summer so it's ready by the fall. Just kind of have it on the needles, work on it when I can. Not a huge priority because I don't really need a full heavy knitted jacket until probably October, but at least it will be ready to go when that weather arrives. And yeah, I'm just really excited for a big cozy jacket in this kind of color. And then miscellaneous, I am actually going to cut this section a little bit short because of the first item I'm going to talk about, which is the Puget Sound local yarn store tour is actually happening this weekend. So I'm going to make a whole video dedicated to the tour, but I have been running around my local yarn stores Thursday, Friday, and today is Saturday. So today I'm going to be heading down south and hitting all the yarn stores down there, and it has just been so much fun. I'm not going to go too much into it right now because I am actively experiencing it right now, and I'm going to make a whole video where I talk about every single yarn store I went to and just all of the details on everything. So yeah, after I am done recording this, I'm gonna head down south and hit a bunch more yarn stores. And yeah, it's just been a great experience so far. So if you're ever in the Seattle area when the Puget Sound Yarn Store Tour is happening, so far I highly recommend. And then I also got a ticket for Flock. I am so excited. I have already started looking through the vendors that are gonna be there. I am very much a project yarn buyer. Like, I don't like to just buy yarn without a project in mind. So I think I'm going to go into the festival with kind of a rough idea of projects that I would like to shop for and kind of have a little bit of a plan rather than just kind of throwing things in my cart and buying things without specific projects in mind. So I will make a video on Flock in general, but let me know if you would be interested in kind of getting a Flock planning video and kind of seeing the projects that I'm looking at, the vendors that I'm interested in checking out, and just all things Flock planning. So if that's interesting, let me know. I don't know if that would be boring or something you all would be interested in, so please let me know. I am just at the edge of my seat, so excited for Flock. I think it's going to be so much fun. Obviously, I have not been knitting for a Flock, so this will be my first time going, and it just looks like so much fun. So I also did get to sign up for classes. I know they had a little snag on their website yesterday when they went live, but I am lucky that I work from home and have the flexibility to just kind of be sitting at my computer. So I was kind of refreshing, waiting for the classes to go live, and I signed up for 2. I signed up for the book club cardigan class with Sari Nordland, so I am so excited about that one. I thought I would do a Dagmar this fall, but now I'm thinking I might do the book club cardigan this fall and then maybe do the Dagmar after that. If I'm not cabled out, maybe closer into like deeper winter. But I do think having the book club cardigan class is really going to inspire me to just continue on the book club cardigan. And I also thought I was going to do some cabling this summer, but now I'm like, it's kind of cool to have Sari, the cable queen, the texture queen herself, teach you how to do these cables. So I don't know, I'm a little on the fence if I should have cable experience going into that class or if I should just go in as a knitter with no cabling experience and let Sari explain things, but it'll be so cool to meet her, and I think that'll be my first Sari Nordland pattern too. I know I have done some research on Ravelry and I know there's some mixed feelings about that pattern overall, but I think having the experience of Sari kind of explaining things and walking through things might clear things up a little bit, but I don't know, TBD. I mean, we're still a ways away, so who knows what's going to happen this summer. And yeah, I'm just so excited for that class. And then I did sign up for another class. I'm a little hesitant about it now though. I don't know if I made a mistake. It is on Saturday, so that's what I'm a little bit hesitant about. I don't know if I am kind of shooting myself in the foot for taking time away from marketplace time. So it's only 2 hours. It's from 2 to 4 on Saturday, and it's a class specifically on single skein strategy, I think it's called. So basically the idea of the class is that if you buy these like 1 or 2 skeins at a time, if it's like something so beautiful you can't pass up and you grab it without a project in mind, this class is, I think, going to help guide decisions, pattern ideas, all that kind of stuff to really highlight your single special skeins and not just default to another Sophie scarf, which is what I literally always do. So yeah, those will both be really fun and just make me even more excited about flock. And I'm sure we'll have lots of flock chat over the next few months. And then one last thing I want to chat about today is not knitting related, but it is sewing. I made a pair of lane pants and they are very boring, so don't get excited, but I will, I guess, have a cutaway here. They're just black linen. I have not sewn in, honestly, years at this point. Maybe a couple years, not like childhood years, but a couple years. And I just wanted to, I had this black linen kind of just sitting around. I have been purchasing a lot of fabric lately because I've started to get inspired again for sewing. And so I just wanted to make, I guess, like a toile, like a wearable toile, and I'm glad I did because I did the size 8 in the lane pants pattern and it's too big, even though my measurements are right on the line of 8, maybe a little bit under 8, but I think it was closer to the 8 than the 6. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to reprint this whole pattern in the size 6 because they fit. And honestly, I think if I just redid the elastic a little bit, I could bring them in a little bit more, but honestly I'm fine with these just being like house pants and being a little loose. But yeah, I am really excited about sewing again. I have so many fun summer garment plans, so if you all are interested, I might make some sewing videos. Maybe I'll just end up talking about sewing at the end of podcasts the way I have been doing so far. More to come on the sewing front for sure. And that is it for our May podcast episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please like, comment, and subscribe. I think those are all the things I'm supposed to say here. And follow me on Instagram. I am at jessica.lovelace. You can see my name spelling on the screen or in my little YouTube name tag thing. But yeah, thank you again for watching. I am so happy you were here. Please let me know in the comments, number 1, if you know anything about the gauge issue I'm having with the Rumi Raglan Light, where going down a needle size did not change the stitch count at all. And then let me know what you're working on in May. I love hearing about other people's projects, yarn, so anything you're working on, I would love to hear it. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!